when I first went on the programme, it was June who rang me and said, like, oh, you know, welcome to the programme kind of thing. It was really sweet. And it's like your nan, you know, your nana's calling you up to be like, you're right.
Hello and welcome to Matt and Mike Poll Focus. I'm Mike.
And I'm not.
And today we're joined by Helena Worthington, cast member of Channel 4's Gogglebox for the past 6 years and past 11 series. Helena, thank you very much for being with us today.
Hiya.
Hiya, you're right. Sorry, trying to make it a bit more official at the beginning.
That was very official, I liked it.
Thanks very much. We're trying to just get right back in.
It's going to make me feel like I'm going to have to be professional. Well, I can't do that, so I'm sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry.
We'll try your best, because remember I said when I made it, I'd pull you up behind me.
Right,
remember that?
Right.
So,
I'm here.
Remember where you are, yeah?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Very welcome.
Oh, that was very official sounding. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Matt was just talking about how you're kind of from the same area, from around this place originally, no?
So Matt's from, like, South Manchester, which is nice. I'm from Walkden in Salford, which is on the border of Bolton. So have you ever seen the film The Hills Have Eyes?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that with a big Tesco's.
All the cannibals
in the
and
90s, it's got better over the years, but I grew up and walked in the 90s, and I remember walking through a derelict shopping centre in my early youth and crying because The Smiths was being played over the tannoy.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, there was like...
Morrissey's inspiration.
It was fucking bleak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bleak. And he was playing Suffer Little Children over the tannoy, and you were just like,
that
wow.
kind of stuff. And at that age, I was very heavily influenced by, you know, like Pulp.
Oh, yeah.
And The Smiths and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And everybody called me a mosher.
Oh, yeah, I was a dirty mosher.
And I was like, I'm sorry, this is Britpop, you idiots.
That's very true.
Before.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get it. So yeah, that was my youth. And then I left Salford, and I think I've been back in Manchester for maybe about 10 years now.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've just been like bumming around.
Because we met at some pretty hedonistic house parties in Charlton, didn't we, originally?
Yeah.
And at a metal gig as well.
Well,
I don't know which one came first.
Which metal gig was it?
It was Sun, you know, that band that you had to wear the earplugs for.
Oh, I love Sun,
yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, the memory isn't shared.
I think
obviously made an impression.
I was there with my brother, who isn't into Doom.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, it's my birthday, no one wants to come and see this band with me because it's just like guttural, hellish noises. And I was like, it's my birthday though.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and Mark was there. And
so me and Mark had kind of got into them, and we'd never seen them live at this point, I think. Or we'd maybe seen them once before. We've seen them 3 times, but that might have been the first or second time, I can't quite remember. And it's, for anyone who doesn't know, this band called Sun, and they're from America, but they sort of, basically, it's doom metal, so it's
they're
like...
not from America.
Oh, no, I thought they were American.
They are like Norwegian, and they're murderers.
Oh,
oh God, what?
Right, so basically...
Sure, it's his son?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, carry on.
It must be. And so they dress like giant hell crows, right?
Yeah, they've got like the hoods
no,
and
they're
everything.
murderers.
What, really?
So they used to go around, I don't know if it's Iceland, Norway, somewhere nice and cold and Scandinavian.
Mm.
And they used to burn churches to the ground. They have, like, committed manslaughter, and because that prison system there is all about reform, they did their time, got reformed, did the band stuff, and went on tour.
Right,
So
I thought you were like after they formed. This is like they performed at a church, burn it down, moved to the next venue, burn it down.
I think they were always doing, like, a bit of music.
Right, okay.
But they were into, like, trying to open the portal to hell.
Right.
You're right, that whole... Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of... Touring is almost their penance for that. They're kind of trying to take it back somehow, or...
No, I think they're just like, we can't do that anymore. It's kind of taken a bit too far.
Right.
But I can still dress like a crow and make people, like, shit themselves with the brown note.
Yeah, with the brown sound.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, it's incredible. It's such an incredible experience, because, like, you go in and they literally hand you earplugs, and you go in and then it starts and it's this guttural chanting.
Yeah.
The room fills with smoke for a long time with, you know, dry ice or whatever it is, smoke machines. And then they've got amps, like the biggest amps you've ever seen, piles of amps, and it's barely even like an audible sound when they start to play. It's just vibration.
There was one bit
shaking.
does this like chanting, and it's like he can throw his voice. So he'll be doing like one like almost like a didgeridoo weird stuff, and then it sounds like. It kind of like just sounded like Vikings about to pillage my village from a distance.
Right.
Which is something I'm into.
Ominous.
Yeah.
Very ominous.
Very ominous. And I was like, that was the best birthday ever.
Yeah.
How old were you when you went to see him?
How old was I?
Oh,
When was I?
this has got to be 6 years ago.
6 years
6
ago.
years, yeah.
How old am I now? Am I 30? Oh, do you know what? It's questions like this.
Yeah.
So I was
Hard-hitting questions.
I was
Sorry.
born in 1980. I drive my partner mad because every time he's like, I'm like, do you remember how old I am?
Yeah.
I think once you pass 30, it's like, I'm nearly middle-aged.
And I'm
In
not
fact, I
pretending.
am middle-aged.
I don't pretend to forget. I genuinely
I
forget.
don't fucking
Like, and
know.
I'm like, I think I am 35. I remember today, but sometimes I'm like, I think I might be 34. But I'm not 100%
Yeah, it's
sure.
always between the
Yeah.
two, and it's usually the older one.
What was the first birthday card you got where you were like, oh shit, when you saw the age on it?
Probably like maybe 3.
When you say shit, you shit yourself.
Yeah.
literally.
I was
literally
like,
shit.
Oh,
I
God.
was like, it's my birthday, I'm 3, I've shit myself.
There we go.
Oh, this again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be shitting myself forever until I die.
Yeah.
This is it.
It was a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
I think mine. Oh no, yeah. Sorry, that took me off guard. That. Mine was 27, but that might be because of that mental connection with the 27 Club.
Oh, yeah.
as well.
You were like, oh, no, I'm still here, I'm not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
not
Yeah,
James
that's
Dean,
it,
I'm
yeah.
not Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I haven't done
As much as I've tried to kill myself with narcotics, I'm not. I persevere. Yeah, here I am.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
I'm very Christian. But that was a really great shared experience that we had.
Yeah,
I was
I
there.
love
Unwittingly.
Yeah.
I promise you. Or,
I never remember where I've been or like when things happen. I rely on people being like, oh, I saw you.
yeah.
And it's not because I'm like absolutely, completely blotto.
No.
It's just I find it very hard to pin time because I don't experience it as a linear experience.
Oh, really?
I experience it like a massive arse cloud,
Like an ass cloud of sort
but
of.
in a most exciting way possible.
Yeah, sort
Yeah.
of bum fuzz.
Yeah,
in
bum
the,
fuzz,
in
yeah.
the universe. I'm terribly linear and chronological. I've got and Michael know, I've just got this obsession with dates. I don't know
Really?
why. So, for example, especially with movies, but even with life events, I'm always like my mum will say, "Oh, do you remember that time when we went to Munich or something?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, 2002." I don't know why. I don't know why, but it helps me with filming context because I like to know the year something was made, what came out the next year, what came out the year before. Just kind of where the art resides in the.
I feel
in
like
the
we all
pantheon.
exist on a spectrum of neurodiversity, and I think it's just being human. And it's like for me being an ADHD, maybe you're more towards like the spectrum of organisation, dates, and stuff like that.
Because it can go either way. Is
Yeah,
that
it
what
can
you
go
mean?
either way.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I'm so unorganised that I shouldn't really be around people who have got neurodivergence as autism.
Right.
Because I had an experience where I tried to make collage happen
Okay.
and it went drastically wrong because I was like, let's be creative. Here's a load of different coloured squares of colour in a mess. Let's play with them.
Alright.
And then there was like loads of people being like, ah!
Yeah.
And it's like, they were like, don't do the collage again.
I think I also, I mean, you probably have used to this, but it's getting like my hands dirty with paint and with any kind of
Oh, do you not like sticky?
chemicals or sticky.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I would be a
yeah.
terrible
There
sort
we
of, painter or artist in that respect. But I know that you're an artist and you sort of experiment with paint and paint as sculpture. That's the kind
Yeah.
of way you put it. Can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of got into that and what interests you about that?
I've always done art. Well, I've always like graffitied things, scribbled things, always been slightly vandalous. And then I realised that I could go and do that for a job.
Nice.
And basically it just doesn't feel like work, and that's ultimately my life goal, is to ever always avoid doing something that I'm finding depletes my joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had like one office job once, and that didn't last long. I've been fired quite a lot from different jobs.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a normal thing. I was
Right.
like, oh, people just get fired all the time, don't they? Like
Part of life.
7 times in a row. Yeah, like
Wow.
AWOL, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think after like growing up and being like told, hey, you're a bit of a special snowflake and you keep getting fired, maybe there's something going on there. So
you don't seem like someone who would be, someone would want to fire. You know what I mean? You seem very personable, very positive.
I've always been given the job. I've always done fantastically well at interviews. Yeah. But then it's the maintaining it. It's like realising that like I'm not going to remember like door codes, and I'll always be asking like if there's a code on a door, like how do I get in the door?
Sure, yeah.
Just like
Just sort of
eating people's
basic.
lunches out the fridge.
Yeah, that whole larceny
that
of lunch.
stuff like yeah.
Well, that is pretty fireable.
Yeah,
If
it is.
someone ate my sushi, I'd be pissed.
Should have put your name on it.
I should.
Congratulations on getting so many jobs, though. That's
Thank
a
you,
really good sign. Yeah.
I think that you said that your goal was to like do work that didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
You've achieved.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
like
achieved
your
it.
2 jobs that you have, one being Gogglebox, one being an artist sculpture.
Yeah.
You're there, aren't you? I mean,
Yeah.
like, do you feel, is there a sense of like, oh, what next? Because I've achieved my life goals. Because I'm a bit jealous right now.
No, I'm quite happy at just pootling along because I don't feel like there is no end goal. It's like it'll end when I die. And you never stop.
And not a second before.
No, not a second before. It's going to be arduous. But I've been doing quite a lot of work with kids who have been expelled from mainstream education, doing art projects, and it's people who have often been deemed naughty or unengaged, and basically like people would say they're shit kids. And for me, I'm like, no, they're not shit kids. They're just going through some stuff and you've just not engaged with them in a way that fits them.
I dig
Because
that,
I
man.
was the naughty kid. Like I was taken out of the classroom because I was like slightly disruptive and not engaged.
Yeah.
And
it was, you wouldn't have been disruptive if you were engaged. It's not the fact that you would be disruptive no matter what. It's that in the 90s and stuff, they had very little processes to deal with kids that just didn't learn by the book.
You were put in a store cupboard, essentially, with like a small group of other naughty kids, all naughty for different reasons. And that was it. It was like as long as the statistics of achievement weren't dragged down by this group, you'd get your Ofsted rating, good or outstanding.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what they were interested in. And it still kind of works like that. Like the education system really still needs to be overhauled because it's not changed since Victorian times.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
As I heard something like that, it was a system that came in Victorian times to basically make the whole of Europe kind of work in the same way.
Yeah.
It was to standardise Europe, and now that is not relevant
But
anymore.
if you look at the
so it's
rest of
outdated.
Europe, kids don't start school until they're 7 or 8.
Yeah, they've moved beyond it.
Yeah.
Some countries, Denmark is really progressive.
Germany's the same.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, with you having a son, Erwin, who is, I guess, he's about 3 years old.
He's 4 now. He's just turned 4.
Oh wow, that's great. And in your mind, with my children, I kind of maybe naively think I'm sort of putting them into a school system that is going to treat them better and cater to their needs more than we got in the 90s.
Yeah.
How do you feel that with Erwin? Do you feel that's happening, or?
I feel like it's potentially better, but you still need to be on it because it's like. So, firstly, he's 4. Sometimes he still poos himself a bit.
Yeah.
And they're expecting him to sit down at a little table and queue up and start to, like, do shit that I don't think should even be in a child's mind at that time. Because as soon as you put somebody into that setting, you start to compare yourself. And I think the longer that you can put off a child comparing itself to another child, the better. Because if you look at mental health, what's that going to do? It's like, that's not okay. So I've got a funny story, really, because when it was, when we were first getting him inducted into the school, parents weren't allowed into the classroom.
Okay.
And I was like, nah, he's getting upset. I'm going in, I'm going to sit on the carpet until I can say, like, are you okay for me to go now? And the teacher was like, oh no, it's no parents' policy. We don't allow that. It's disruptive to the routine. And I was like, the routine doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
He's new, he's 4, and I'm coming in, and she's like, oh no, and I was like, well, he's not coming into school today then, and she was like, oh, and I just like walked past, and he was like one of the only children that didn't cry during that like first induction week, and he's been okay ever since because we did the routine properly.
Yeah.
And it's like I found a mum crying in an alleyway, clinging to the railings, trying to catch a glimpse of her child.
Oh man!
And it's like, what are we doing?
You've got to cater to that. You know, you've got to like take that into account. That some kids are first for the parents, it's going to be really harrowing for some parents, for most parents, and then also, like you say, that he's just going to learn better if that you can coach him through it a bit and like and help him understand things.
If the parents feel secure and happy. And the children feel secure and happy, you're not going to get that reaction.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like people are so scared of like rocking the boat or challenging systems. Like I've always been like deeply like into trying to like question systems and being like, I feel like I'm really punk rock at heart, which is probably like a really lame thing to say. But I've always been like, yeah, fuck the system.
Yeah. Well, if it doesn't work.
If it doesn't work, and if it does work, be like, oh, well, let's see where it works and can we transfer it into our our stuff that we're doing here.
Yeah. Standardization is just, I think it can be quite destructive in a lot of ways, because I literally remember the moment in school, I was telling someone about this the other day, of going there in primary school and going, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get this at all.
Yeah.
And I was quite a shy, nervous kid, but it was more than that. It was exactly what you're talking about. It was the idea that, why am I here learning in this way that doesn't work for me?
Yeah.
And obviously it's taken me years to kind of realise that's what the feeling was. It just felt kind of like, a bit hopeless and a bit lonely. But now I realise that's exactly what it was. It was just that this does not work for me.
But we're having an experience now where we've lived that education, so we can be aware of how we can step into school now. Because I'm totally ready to cause a fuss.
Yeah.
Like I'm very ready to be like, oh, this works. He seems happy. Very good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm not okay with things, I'll be a nuisance.
Well, it's no detriment to other children either. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't affect. Your action with your child does not affect any other children in a negative way.
They said
that's what they're telling you.
They said that if a parent is coming in to reassure their child on the first induction day, that other children might see that their parent's not there and it might upset them. And if that's the case, get their fucking parent in too.
Yeah.
Or do something. And it's like a minimum contact policy as well. So you've got little 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, and they're bawling their eyes out, and no one's picking them up and giving them a cuddle.
It's not right, is it?
It's weird. It's like we're so like, it's like HR and like office workers have gone into primary schools and we've become these weird freaks. It's like we're essentially just big, bald orangutans that manage to put clothes on. Yeah. What have they done to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note...
I mean, I do
This is why I'm heavily edited.
No, I do have some friends who are teachers back in my old hometown of Blackpool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're from Blackpool?
Yeah,
Nice.
originally, yeah. Whole family's from Manchester. I'm the only one born outside, so yeah, they call me Sandboard.
Was it like a
and
wild holiday that happened, or...?
My dad's job took us over there, so
his
I
dad was the
there.
big one, in Blackpool.
Yeah, Pepsi Max roller coaster. That was
Pepsi Max, sorry, yeah.
Didn't he take someone's leg off them then?
Yeah, there was something.
That was the Smiler, wasn't it? That was Alton
it?
Towers, I believe.
Oh, was it? No, there was. I don't mean to go into the history of the Pepsi Max big one, but when I remember hearing something about someone dying on it when I went to like reception class or year one, and like talking about it in the class.
Was it urban myth or fact?
No, it was real facts, because it was like everyone in our class's like first experience of death, like apart from like a family member dying or something like that. But it was just like the big like first thing, like, oh, wait, the roller coaster that we sometimes go on is unsafe. What? People can die on that?
On the crazy. Pleasure Beach.
Exactly, that was not Pleasure Beach that day.
I always thought the Grand National was probably the most dangerous. You know, the horses with that
fucking
drop. You've got like a thin chain, and then you're being like dashed around on the back of a horse. And I've looked down before, I'm like, if I teeter slightly to the side, I'm dead.
Yeah, you're down, yeah.
I think there's a sweet spot though. Injury compensation.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You're just trying not to get onto the Darwin Award. You don't want to die.
I don't want to die. Preferably want some of my limbs left.
Exactly. Take it from the council. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to trivialise that poor lady who lost a leg on the Smiler, but there was a
here we
part of
go.
me. I'm about to. There was a part of me that just kind of went, 15 million quid or a leg. I don't know.
I said that. I was
I
like,
suppose it's the trauma of the experience that's going to.
The 15 million can buy you a lot of prosthetics.
It can. It can't get rid of the trauma though.
No, the trauma stays.
The
but-
trauma, yeah, because that's tough.
15 million.
15. I think.
15.
Only 15. Yeah.
What do you mean only 15 million?
think it
If
was-
someone was like, I'll give you 50 quid for a leg, I'd be like, sweet, sign me up.
That finds
Get
15
me one of
million in
those
the back of
fucking
the sofa.
super spring legs.
I'll eat it for you in front
Yeah.
of you as well. I'll eat it in front of you. Oh yeah.
You get the boingy spring legs that are better than actual real legs.
Yeah.
Because you can fucking run like a velociraptor then.
Yeah, that would be great. So there's a benefit. So
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
paid
It's
to be.
better.
The Pistorius legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oscar Pistorius legs, that's the dream.
Just don't kill anybody and you'll be
No,
fine. Yeah.
just remove your own legs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
None of this is going in.
Yeah.
My friend back in
Good to get it
Blackpool.
out though, because then we feel free.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, some of it's going in, definitely. So yeah, to leap from sort of existential dread and bodily injury to Gogglebox, which you are
Quite similar.
known for.
Yeah.
Not most known for, because I know you for other reasons, but
Just being alive.
just being a sort of human being.
Yeah.
I was stood next to me at a metal gig, I promise you.
Thank you.
Unless I kind of imagine the vibrations made me imagine you like Obi-Wan in Star Wars.
Was it not Jeanette Cranky? Were you confused?
It could have been. It could have been. But yeah, I mean, the thing, me and my wife absolutely adore Gogglebox, and the reason I think is primarily not just because you're in it, which is a huge factor, but it's a spiritual successor to the royal family, and it came from one of my heroes, Caroline Aherne, and
Wow, you've researched it, you know.
oh well, she used to narrate it, didn't she?
Yeah.
I love the Fast Show. You see, I'm a huge fan
Oh,
of
me
like that
too.
era, Fast Show, and Harry Enfield.
Yeah.
That kind of era
Harry
of comedy.
Enfield and Friends, I grew up on that.
It's amazing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And I just always loved her, and I think that again subconsciously I could tell that she was sort of mank, and that she was
Yeah.
she was from the north, and there was like a northern humour thing going on, whereas like Harry Enfield and stuff was very much more southern kind of
yeah,
humour.
yeah.
Still loved it. Anyway, point being, we really love that show. We find a lot of comfort from it, and we also catch up on a week's worth of TV, which is
Yeah, that
very,
was helpful.
very helpful.
I find that is probably the most useful thing about that, because it's like people don't really buy the Radio Times that much anymore.
No.
So it's essentially, I feel like a programme that is just the Radio Times, but also funnier than the Radio Times.
Yeah.
Though I'm sure Terry Wogan used to write some stuff in the Radio Times.
And you sort of read it in his voice.
Yeah.
When you like back, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny the way the Radio Times doesn't have any Radio Times in it? It's TV, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then does the TV Times have the radio stuff? Is that how that works?
I don't know. I think you might just be having a seizure.
Just chatting shit. Yeah. Cool.
Again, I haven't read the Radio Times in about like 20 odd years, so yeah.
So while I go and
not
take
the
my
expert.
medication, I might ask Helena a question. So yeah, I was just going to say that I think that it's again being a spiritual successor. The royal family meant so much to so many people because it was relatable, it was
Yeah.
hilarious, and it was made by Salfordians, right? Like people.
I think Royal
Craig Cash
Family was Mancunian.
They
I
both
feel,
Manc.
I feel like it's Stratford ends.
Oh, they might be
you know.
Stratford ends, yeah.
I feel like it's that, but it's all like when I grew up watching the Royal Family as a child, I was like, that's my fucking living room. Like just the decor, the fact that it'd be like, you'd be having an egg butty.
Yeah.
Like it was just that kind of thing, and it was like a real strange mirror into a lifestyle that wasn't often captured or depicted on TV.
No.
It's like you wouldn't have normal people. I say normal because that's my normal.
Just saying, like, what do you have for tea?
Yeah, what
Or
you have for
spaghetti?
That's what we do.
Bolognese.
Well,
We still do it. Like when my nana calls me, we always go, "What are you having for your tea?"
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
yeah.
thought that was a normal sign-off, not goodbye,
Sure.
because we don't really say goodbye either. We just hang up.
Yeah.
What are you having for your tea? Potato ash, right? Phone down. That's it.
Someone also pointed out to me that what a remarkable sell it was, because on the page that is nothing. The
A
Royal
family
Family,
watches
if you
TV,
read it,
yeah.
especially with a southern mentality or a different area of the country,
Yeah.
it means nothing. It literally is not funny. It's not anything
Yeah.
really. It's just benign conversation. There's not really any jokes per se.
No.
There's kind of awkward conversation and so on. So to see it acted, it's the ultimate thing where a pilot is necessary, isn't it? Because if you see it acted by those amazing actors,
Yeah.
Carolina and so on, it works completely.
Like Jim is a lot of northern men that I've encountered.
Oh, yeah.
Even down to his arse crack and those jeans. Like, it's like that is genius.
And that sort of yellow stripy top that he wore for like 4 seasons or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that was obviously the initial pull to Gogglebox for me. Was like, I recognise Craig Cash's voice, I recognise Carolina's voice. Did you ever meet either of those people?
I've never met them as of yet, Craig, but I do know that the person who originally did the programme, who came up with the concept, was friends with Carolina. So it was a lady called Tanya who was the producer for years, and she stepped down, I think it was a few years ago, because I think she just didn't sleep. Like, she would be, because it's such a fast edited programme.
Yeah.
Like, I'm filming at the start of the week and it's out at the end of the week.
Oh, it's really?
Wow.
There's no delay?
No delay. So basically it's like, you film it, the material is sent to London physically, and it's produced then.
Wow.
So it's like, it's a fast thing, and they came up with the idea together.
Yeah.
They were like, we've got this amazing programme that's really something special because it's so relatable and heartwarming, because it's family.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do this. And it was just a massive success, because that's just, everybody's got a family unit, whether it's like biological family or your friends or, anything. It's like people have got those units of companionship, and it's just nice to see that everybody's relatable. Like, we've got certain people in that programme who I think on paper I'd be like, nah, you're not my people. Like Mary and Giles are very posh. I think they're probably
Brexiters.
Yeah, Brexiters.
Yeah.
Or but I find them endearing.
Yeah,
We're all just humans at the end of the day. And even though we've got minor things on the surface, like political views, or as long as you're a decent person, you're all just trying to get on with what's best for you and your family.
And they're no harm, are they? They're sat there in their armchairs and they're sort of being very gentle with each other, and it's just lovely. Leon, I really, not sound like, really affected me, but I really adored Leon when he was on it, and he passed away.
Well, June has too.
Oh, has she gone? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so. But no, they've had a great life, and they were very old.
Yeah.
And it was, when I first went on the programme, it was June who rang me and said welcome to the programme kind of thing. It was really sweet. And it's like your nan, your nana's calling you up to be like, you're right. And I found that
just
really,
to make you feel welcome.
Yeah. And so this is why, I'm talking about reality TV and constructed reality as an umbrella term. I'm not talking about it specifically. I think Gogglebox is different. Because there's certain programs that I see and I'm like, ooh, this is all about slagging each other off, and it's about trying to do someone over, or trying to shag somebody, and it's it's just quite wholesome.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody who works on the program has always been really lovely, and I think it's kind of like the best of British culture. Yeah. And I say British culture because it's such a broad spectrum. You've got people from all different parts of the country, all different backgrounds, and it's that's what makes us, a nice place to be.
Absolutely, it's a window into as much as there were certain programs in the 90s that was the Kumars at number 23, and one of my friends said, who's Pakistani in origin, said it was just so great to see quote unquote brown people represented on the TV.
Yeah, it's all about representation, isn't it? Yeah.
And he was just like, I could see myself on TV for the first time in the same way as the royal family might represent, your sort of upbringing, your culture, so on. And it's just being represented, isn't it? At the end of the day, and if you don't see yourself in the mainstream, then you just you can't.
It helps you place yourself.
Yeah,
it helps you feel slightly validated, which is weird, but it's it's everybody wants to feel slightly seen. Yeah,
absolutely.
But sometimes I don't feel like being seen.
That's what so my next question is sorry, Mike, you want to interrupt?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say the fact that June reached out to you. Do you keep in contact with other members of the cast? Or?
We kind of do and we don't. But I feel like it's because we live all over the country.
Yeah.
Julie lives not far from where I work, and we message sometimes, and because she's Manchester based.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bumped into them in the pub once. They were lovely. It
Yeah.
was so nice. Yeah.
And by lovely, do you mean very drunk? Because I know Julie.
A bit of both,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
It was New Year's Eve, actually,
Yeah,
when I met them.
right.
But they were very accommodating
Yeah,
and lovely to
very
everyone in
sweet.
the pub, and,
Yeah.
and really embraced their role. You know, they seemed to be very secure with it, and
Yeah.
they loved it. But yeah, so she seems really nice.
Yeah. She's into ghosts.
Really?
Yeah.
She's like spiritual.
She can see spirits.
Really?
Yeah,
No
not just
way.
vodka and gin. Like, she can see spirits, and I love shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is like about film and stuff like that, but
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be
Yeah,
about
no.
film, but my like actual passion is shit telly.
Yeah.
Like real shit, like Most Haunted, Ghost Hunters,
Classic.
Help My House is Haunted, shit
Yeah.
like that, where I'm like, I can really switch off the old knocking and
Sure.
be like, this is brilliant.
Derek
Yeah.
Acora is your
Derek
spirit
Acora.
animal.
I'm still waiting for Derek to come back.
Yeah.
Wasn't he kind of discredited? Isn't that
No,
why he
he's
left?
dead.
Oh, right.
Derek
ultimate
is
discredit.
dead.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, where's Yvette? Why isn't there a programme with Yvette Fielding and it's Spirit Derek Acora and Sam?
Yeah.
And plot twist, they're together now.
There you go.
As
I
in,
would
like,
watch that.
they're together.
Yeah,
I think you've got a
get
future in TV commission in there, dude.
No, I always bother them with ideas.
Yeah.
They deny them all.
What is it now, Helena?
Yeah.
She's got another
I
one.
was like, right, larking about, we're on the Thames, we're looking for items that are medieval washed up.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. I was like, but they've found unactivated mines. Like, it could be really exciting.
Monkey tennis?
Monkey tennis.
Monkey tennis?
Has
That's the
that
one,
been
yeah.
done?
Yeah, that was our partridge. Wasn't it?
Partridge.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
no,
his
I've
last-
turned
that's his
into
last pudding.
partridge.
Yeah.
I knew it was happening.
Accidental partridges are the best
I do
ones,
have
though.
my own plate, big plate that I bring with me.
Smelly Alan Partridge.
Stinky Alan Partridge.
Stinky Alan
Was
Partridge,
it?
sorry. I
Oh, wait,
misquoted.
maybe that's wrong.
I
I
might
don't
have
know.
misquoted.
I
yeah.
might have misquoted, actually.
Yeah. Did you bring your big plate today?
I do, it's in my briefcase.
Oh, brilliant. Wicked.
Fantastic.
We'll get that out later and have some spot of lunch.
Am I okay to ask you if you get recognised in public?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say, oh, I had a woman go, that's not her. Her face is too fat. And
Oh,
then she was
wow.
like,
Oh, no.
and then she was like, she was an old elderly lady, and I was like, fucking bitch.
You can still slap her.
And then she was like, "Here's you," and then just like people are usually like, "Oh, you look a lot more different in real life. You're a lot shorter." So apparently,
You
I
sat
look
down.
very.
You're not,
That's what I said,
you're not
like,
stood up
sat
watching the
down, like,
TV.
you look like a tall person sat down.
Thanks for the compliment, I guess.
So yeah, it's a strangely, but usually people are like everyone's lovely. They just say certain things that are like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah.
And genuine, does it was it nice and now it bothers you, or was it the other way round? Have you come to peace with it, or has it always just been fine?
Well, it's everything's day to day, really, isn't it? There's never one or the other. But I
Because
think
it doesn't surprise you.
it doesn't surprise me. But what I do is so a kind of way that I've worked out how to deal with it is so on TV I try and dress very brightly coloured. Whereas if I then want a day where I'm like left to my own business, I'll dress like a beatnik.
Yeah.
So I'll wear like all black, a beret, some glasses,
Yeah.
a dark colour.
Yeah.
And people can't, like, they don't make the connection then.
So that does work.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because
So
there is like
disguise-
there's famous stories with celebrities where they do that and then they say, "Hey, Jim Carrey," and he's like, "Oh God," like straight away.
Yeah.
But it does tend to work. for
It
you,
does
that.
tend to work, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also just stay away from, like, places where I know I'll get recognised.
Yeah.
Like Salford Shopping City.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I'll just stay
I'm
away.
glad you're embracing your Moshe roots as well still by dressing so
Yeah.
like a beatnik, like you say.
Yeah, I'm into that kind of thing.
Yeah. You're a mosher. You're into the Smiths.
Yeah. Bloody Grebo.
They used to call us hippies in my Oakwood High School, and we were moshers. You know, we were kind of like heavy metal t-shirts and baggy trousers, and they'd call us hippies. So we were hippies. Mosher, the term mosher for us wasn't really our word. It was never used.
Was it the weed association?
I
Hippies
guess
and
so. Yeah, we smoked roll-ups.
If it was the
and,
ganj, then
The ganj
it
and the
might be
roll-ups.
like, goddamn hippies.
Were you
If
putting
you had
like
Golden Virginia, you were a hippie.
Yeah.
If you had like Mayfair, you were a scally. It was very odd. Like
you
sort
weren't
of
like
thing.
preaching peace and putting like flowers in guns or anything like that?
They're
no?
quite the opposite, really.
So with this being a film podcast, we asked you what type of film you'd like to talk about, and you've chosen the Liam Neeson vehicle, Taken, from like 2008, 2009?
2008, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know dates.
No, I looked at that with the date guy.
I'll just say, 2008.
Yeah, you look
Yeah.
at me,
Yeah.
I've got you covered. Luc Besson?
Luc Besson wrote it, but I believe Pierre Morel directed it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a Luc Besson directed movie now.
I thought that as well, and then I did some a little bit of research.
He's
and
the
it
guy
came
who's
out
responsible
differently.
for The Fifth Element and...
What?
Leon the Professional.
Leon, yeah.
Are you kidding? The Fifth Element and Taken have a link.
Yeah, same
Because
way
that's
behind it.
another, like, one of my top favourite films.
Yeah.
That happens a lot,
Love
with
that.
people, because when we have these discussions, they go, "Oh, and you can literally draw a line, and they might not have been aware of it with people, but it shows that you can tell there's a creative.
Because that's the way that I've thought about Taken for a long time is it's like Bruce Willis has had a funny kind of turn and made a shit film. I don't feel like people fully understand how bizarre Taken is until you've seen it like 10 times, because I watch it regularly, repeatedly.
The whole trilogy, or just the first?
All of it, like
Okay,
the whole
yeah.
trilogy.
Right.
But I think definitely it's my Christmas film. So every
Really?
Christmas,
It's your Die Hard.
yeah, it's my Die Hard. I'm like, I've had the Die Hard for long enough. I love Taken. Me and my partner and his brother and cousin, we watch it, we get a bit drunk, and we just quote the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's just... It's like I was having a discussion about it, and I was like, who is this film for?
Yeah.
Like, who's the demographic that they're going for? Because it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's like they're trying to be a serious action film, but then you've got fucking Liam Neeson hiding behind a bag of baguettes going like, mercy. Go away. Yeah.
I feel like, why did I not notice that 10 years ago when the movie came out? Because I don't remember finding that funny. I watched it last night and I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah. So the opening to that whole film is Liam Neeson researching a karaoke machine.
Yeah.
And all of the professional people, Beyonce, Jay-Z, or I can't remember who it was, use this karaoke machine. It's the most bizarre opening to a film.
Yeah.
And it's like, he fucking runs with it. There's just so much weird shit. But then at the same time, there's like some scenes that are truly harrowing.
Really like almost like Saw levels or
Yeah.
Hostel levels of horror.
Yeah,
Which
like
I
there's-
was really surprised by on this rewatch. I'd forgotten how gory it got and how violent.
I'm gory, violent, I'm not bothered about, but it's the like people trafficking vibes. Like,
that as well,
That's the
yeah.
bit where I'm like, ooh, that's really scary and horrible.
Yeah.
Because it happens. And then there's just like the hilarious shit where there's like some guy who's like, taxi's so damn expensive, want to share? Like, just that line where it's like, who the fuck's that guy? How's he got this job?
Yeah.
Like, it's just bizarre
It feels
stuff.
to me like a Nick Cage vehicle. When you actually, if you replace Neeson with Nick Cage in the 2020s, it feels like a Nick Cage movie.
Well,
to me.
that's what always like just made it stand out, was just how Liam Neeson, like in the years previously, was doing like romantic comedies and
Schindler
and
before
like
that,
obviously
like,
Schindler
very
was like his big
serious
one, or
drama.
Qui-Gon Jinn in Star
Right.
Wars,
Yeah.
and then he's just like moved into just like action thrillers, and he's done 22 since Taken.
That's extraordinary.
22.
I knew he'd done maybe
He's
6
found
or
his
7.
Liam Neeson.
Nice,
Yeah.
that is very nice.
Yeah.
Bravo on
Thank
that. I think
you.
we should end there. Wow.
Mic drop.
Yeah, need to see your
One
time
on this
music.
show. Wow, that was pretty. That's
That is impressive.
that is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I got a BAFTA.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, we didn't mention the BAFTA. Did you bring it?
I've got it somewhere. I put it down.
Is it next to your plate?
I don't know. Yeah, it might be next.
Well, does
to-
every cast member get a BAFTA?
No, didn't
oh,
fall.
okay.
I like touch it once, and then that's gone into someone's
Oh,
bathroom.
wow.
I'm so
It's
gullible.
gone into
I am
some
so
rich person's
gullible.
bathroom.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, can I come round and see it?
Yeah, you can have it. I've got a load of fake ones in the boot of my car. I'll
Amazing.
sign it for you. So, what was I going to say about Taken? So, I think I worked out who the film is aimed at.
Oh, right.
What
Yeah.
is demographic? It's
Yeah,
audiences.
Trump voters.
Oh, really?
Go on.
I feel like it's for, like, American people who are like, so, themes that are a bit fucking weird and niggle at me. So, Kimmy, his daughter who gets taken, the only thing that essentially saves her from being, like, done in is the fact that she's a virgin.
Sure.
And who are the heroes? Government workers for the CIA.
Yeah.
So it's like building up all of these very American, very kind of patriotic and kind of almost Christian themes.
Yeah. I can see that with, like, let's not go to Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go to fucking Europe because it's full of Albanians who are going to steal your daughters.
I remember thinking, like, you know, the Albanian embassy on line 1, I mean, like, Jesus Christ, like, they're literally all Albanians from a very specific real village.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not cool. Like, you can't just, like, say that.
exactly.
Just targeting one specific village.
Not Nick, what's his name? Nigel Farage got in trouble for that shit. You know what I mean? Saying, like, I wouldn't want to live next to a bunch of Albanians.
Yeah.
He said, you know, and that was years later. So I was just kind of like, yeah, this is just,
He's
like...
a big fan of Taken his Farage.
He must be.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
He's part of it.
It confirms his ideology.
So it's like we can see it for its ridiculous kind of beauty, but there is a group of people there who will see it as a hard-hitting, serious action film.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard of the film The Sound of Freedom that's recently come out in America?
No.
It's starring Jim Caviezel, who
What's
plays...
a Jim Caviezel?
He played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, I ain't seen that one yet.
He hasn't done much since. He's just kind of
Well,
been
he's
kind
dead,
of
isn't
tight.
he?
Well, yeah. He came back 3 days later. And I believe he's going to be in the sequel because they are making a sequel to
Oh,
Passion of the
really?
Christ, apparently. Anyway, so he's starring in this thing as, like, trying to take down, like, human traffickers in America. And it's all very Trumpian, very MAGA, very, like, oh, the Mexicans are coming across our border trying to take our women. But, like, the producer of it has been done in for sex trafficking.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll be like, I was just researching it for
Yeah.
artistic reasons.
Took it a bit too far,
Yeah.
But, like, it's just very... It's like a serious version of Taken.
Oh.
Whereas, like, Taken has, like, fun with itself with karaoke machines, Holly Valance
Yeah.
being in it.
Holly Valance.
Yeah. Do you remember her?
Why is nobody asking, why was Holly Valance almost stabbed?
Yeah, I remember thinking that. Like, why is that guy just going to kill her for, like, you know, what's
for
the
no
motivation
reason.
here?
Who hates Holly Valance?
Yeah, and how did he get the knife in the first place? It's
Yeah.
like, that was complete bullshit. And then, do you know what really got me, made me genuinely laugh out loud, was she's going to follow you two around.
Yeah, following you two
Loves
around.
Like, you know,
Such a
loves you
groupie.
two, and who at that age...
Well, you know
in
what that
2008
is? It's rock music.
Oh, yeah, it's rock.
It's
Generic
the
rock
bad
music, yeah.
influence of
Yeah.
rock music and bands.
But, like, enough that, like, a 40-year-old would know the band
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
time.
And
So,
feel
like,
afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what the kids loved in 2008? You two.
Bono.
Yeah, we were
was-
all vexed that he'd put his music on our stupid iPods.
I was gonna say, was that around about that time?
I remember being like, you know, it was quite the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
everyone hated them more than they do now.
Yeah.
But,
Very strange.
So that really made me laugh when it was like, and they had like, you know, the little lines drawn on the map, like, we're going to go to Munich and then we're going to go here
Yeah,
to
and
see
he's like,
you two.
hang on.
There's
Yeah.
8 dates here. That's too many.
It strikes me as like a 50-year-old thing. What band would a teenage girl go and watch? Oh yes, that U2. They're recent, aren't they? They did
Even the
Joshua
Rolling
Tree.
Stones, they were old enough to be kind of cooler, you know, because they were like
Yeah.
way, you know, retro kind of band.
Yeah.
But like, you two were just so uncool in 2008.
It's such a
and
weird
more
choice.
Now, you
Might as
know.
well to make it Nickelback or something like that. My God,
Yeah.
shocking.
I don't know, I feel like people who enjoy Donald Trump probably like Nickelback.
Maybe. Yeah, he does look a lot like Jesus.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
He's a good Christian.
Well, it's Smash Mouth's audience. Oh no, wait, he just died.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Oh, who's
yeah.
dead?
You know, Smash
Lead
Mouth.
singer of Smash Mouth.
Somebody once told me the word.
Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek guy. Dead.
That's so good.
That's a good album.
There's so many videos on YouTube of him cursing his audience. He was just like pissed.
Oh,
Yeah, he was an
really?
anti-vaxxer as well.
Was he?
A COVID anti-vaxxer.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
apparently.
Did he die of COVID?
Something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
that
complications
Oh,
regarding.
yeah.
Just like me.
Fuck around, find out.
It's like, oh, was he anti-vaxxer?
Yeah, and then he
Oh.
died of the COVID.
Oh, I didn't actually
But
know
he was
that.
a fucker.
Yeah.
I love Meatloaf. I love Meatloaf. Like Bat Out for Hell is
Yeah.
the album that I play when I'm drunk. I've got 2 copies of it on vinyl because I know
Wow.
that one day I will destroy one.
So you got back up.
Yeah, I've got
Wow.
backup. And it's just like, because it's a fucking rock opera.
Yeah.
It's a story, there's a narrative. And also, he's like this big, weird guy who has just got huge, and he's like a phenomena.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then he bullied Chris Boosie
Oh,
on
okay.
on the, what's it called, the American
Apprentice?
or something, because he thought that Chris Boosie had stolen his crayons.
Right.
What?
Right, sorry, this is to do with film and TV, I'm sure.
No, yeah, we're talking about shit.
And Donald Trump as well.
Yeah, Donald Trump. So, what films has he been in?
Is it Gary Busey?
Gary Busey,
Yeah.
sorry. So
I wondered if he was
Gary
related to
Busey, you need to Google this
Someone
one.
bullied Gary Busey.
Gary
know.
Busey was like, they were doing an activity where they had to make an art to sell at auction, and Meatloaf was like, "Where'd you get those paints from, Busey?" And he's like, "They're mine, mate." And he like loses it, and he's like, "Don't fucking like," and he's genuinely like frothing at the mouth. Busey's just like looking like a fucking reanimated corpse.
Sure,
and
yes,
looking
he does do that.
confused. And then they just find that his bag was like just next to his feet, and that
Fantastic.
wasn't his.
This is the shit TV you were talking
This is
about.
it. This
Yeah.
is like stuff that I watch on repeat
Yeah.
Beautiful.
on YouTube.
Hasn't he recently had a kid as well, Gary Busey?
Probably.
He's about 75
He's
or
a
something.
baller.
He looks like
He-
an Easter Island statue.
Yeah.
He
It's
still
like
manages.
he travels through time
That makes sense.
somehow with his
Yeah.
head, his giant head. So yeah.
I love Guy Busey's movies. I really, really do. And he's in a movie called Silver Bullet, which is like an unknown, well, relatively unknown, like werewolf movie. And he plays like Uncle Red in it, who builds. this is going to sound a bit strange, but his nephew is in a wheelchair, and he builds a fully motorized silver wheelchair. And gives his nephew a bunch of fireworks and tells him to go in the woods and let him off on his new silver wheelchair. It's bonkers.
That
and
Is that the plot of the film?
He's the coolest uncle ever, and he
That
drinks
sounds-
wild turkey from the bottle. He just like drinks slugs wild turkey.
The fact that it's a werewolf movie, does the silver wheelchair come into it where like you've got to fire the wheelchair
yeah,
at the
is the
werewolf?
boy the silver bullet?
Weirdly enough, the Silver Bullet wheelchair comes in before any of them are aware that there's a werewolf.
What?
That's convenient.
Which
I'm
now,
very
and they just ram it up his ass when they find him and he dies.
Penetrate the werewolf.
Yeah, line it up.
Yeah.
88 miles an hour. Boom. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
You
take it, yeah.
remind me that film. Will you message me that? Because I
Silver
will.
Bullet.
I will want to watch.
Are you a
that.
Busey guy? Are you a Busey fan?
Yeah, I love.
yeah.
I love anything that's fucking weird, a
Yeah.
bit shit.
It's really good. It's Stephen
Yeah.
King book.
Oh, I love
and
Stephen King.
it's one of his. Yeah, again, it's so much fun as a movie, but it's not. I wouldn't say it was like scary or
Yeah.
it was a good horror movie, but it's just really fun.
See, that's the kind of horror that I can deal with.
Yeah.
It's got to be slightly funny,
Kinda
or
camp or-
or camp, or just something like
very
a bit.
camp.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll love it.
I'm there. Anything
make a
camp.
note. I will.
Brilliant.
So yeah, in terms of Taken, like when did you first see it? Did you watch it at the cinema, or like what was your sort of experience of getting into it?
I don't really go to mainstream cinemas that much because it's a bit. I find the environment slightly startling because of Dolby surround sound.
Ah, yeah, you're
Makes sense.
It's too
surrounded.
much. It's too much. It's too loud.
Yeah.
I've
Overwhelming,
often
isn't it?
said it's too loud. Can you turn it down? I don't know why it's that loud.
I'll just mix this episode in stereo then.
Yeah,
We'll just keep it stereo.
It's all right.
all in
I'm
front of you.
not going to listen to
Yeah.
it. So.
The fan for the fan, you know.
Yeah.
For the fan.
No, so I'll go to smaller cinemas, but it's usually like I'll watch. The way that I watch TV is on a very small laptop from across a room,
Right.
and I can only watch films that are either rubbish and funny to keep my attention, or like Sexy Beast, an hour and 15 minutes. Anything longer than that, I fucking go. Like I'll start reorganising a drawer. I get distracted.
Yeah.
I've been trying to watch Lord of the Rings.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch Lord of the Rings for about 5-6 years now.
There?
Don't know what happened to the
They
ring.
probably just left the Shire at that. But
Yeah, I was going to say, where did you get up to?
Like,
Yeah.
Halfway through Two Towers, or
I just feel like I know how it ends. I feel
Fair.
like it just ends in like a Hobbit orgy or something. Like
you obviously have seen it. Okay,
yeah. They
So if
found
Stephen
the
King
rings.
wrote it, yeah.
You just
Oh,
went to
there
see
it is.
that at
Yeah.
the cinema, didn't you, Mike? The third one.
Yeah, it's the 20-year
re-release.
anniversary, so they've been in the cinema again. So,
Are they back in the?
yeah, I took my partner to see him in the cinema, and
Did you watch
it's the
them
first time.
all?
Like Saturday by Saturday, yeah, over the course of 3 Saturdays.
And how long was the run time? Was it the special edition? Return of the
Yes,
King?
special extended
So
editions. I
that'd be
think.
3 hours and 10.
My
3 hours
God,
20?
you guys are actual real nerds, aren't you? This
Oh,
is
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
Return
love
of
You were in
you.
the presence
I love
of.
you people.
Return of the King, I think, was like 4 and a bit hours, maybe 4
What?
and 20.
4 and a bit?
Something like that.
I was.
Wow.
I
Felt like
didn't
it.
realise it was that long.
Yeah,
What, one film?
yeah.
It's
the
4
Return
and a
of the King.
bit.
Mhm.
How do they expect fucking someone to do that?
Did
That's
you,
a big
Did
ask.
you have an intermission or no?
No.
What?
Holy fuck!
Yeah, we just
how
watched
many,
it.
How many pee breaks did you have?
In Return of the King, I didn't have any.
Did you do a Neeson?
Speaking of which, yes.
Get the piss stain pictures up.
We
Let's
were
have a look at
talking
Liam
about this
Neeson.
before. Yeah, this
Put them
is
in the
so
comment, put them in
weird.
the description.
Yeah.
I mean, for an action hero, I mean, like there are several examples of him meeting fans.
I feel
And
like he drinks. I feel like he gets real Larry and just pisses himself.
that makes sense. We've all been there.
Yeah, and we've all got a friend who is the pee pants. Oh, is it
Yeah.
you? I still don't know.
One time, Mike.
Sorry,
one time,
we
on
don't
the
talk
last
about
show.
that often. Sorry.
Yeah, with our last high-profile guest. Yeah, so
Mine-
uh-oh.
Our friend Pete Heppel, he was the piss pants of our group.
Are you just going to name him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Peter
he's
Heppel.
just, shout out.
I think he's married with kids now.
Yeah.
But Peter Heppel used to. We just knew he'd piss himself, and we used to put a cushion from a couch
Yeah.
at the bottom of the stairs because we knew that at some point he will tumble down the stairs, he'll land on the soft cushion, then he'll piss himself.
Oh wow.
And
I used
then
to
the
have a-
council came and we had to move out the house and it was deemed unsafe.
Too
and-
much piss.
Yeah,
We had a
too
couple of those
pissy.
mates who would just black out drunks almost instantly, and you were kind of like, in terms of they're just wandering around like zombies.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in a weird way, I was a little bit envious because I was like, that looks like really, like, it looks like you're not there anymore at all.
Also not accountable at all
Not
for your
accountable.
actions.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
I can get to that level, but I remember everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's awful.
Which makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Neeson gets to that point? He just doesn't remember, and he's just
Yeah,
like, "Oh
so-
no, it wasn't me. It was something
Oh.
else."
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, no one ever wants to bring it up to him because then he'll find you and kill you.
He
Because then it'll just be
probably
awkward.
just feels like he's got the Mickey drips. You know, like when
Yeah,
your
yeah.
penis tricks yourself. I'm talking like I've got a penis.
You do urinate. though.
I
Yeah,
do
but-
urinate,
yeah,
but
dribble.
I've been
Yeah.
told penises trick you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you wee, you have to wait, and then it'll like expel a little bit more urine.
As
so,
you get older, there's a weird delay mechanism.
yeah.
it's
So
true.
I feel
Kind
like Liam Neeson probably suffers with extreme Mickey drips.
Yeah.
Oh, this doesn't look like it's just the Mickey drips. This looks like he
It's full
is.
piss.
Yeah,
But-
he missed the boat on getting to that bathroom.
He's probably got
a
to that
bunch of
stage in his
times.
drinking career where he wakes up and go, "Who pissed in my pants?"
Yeah, somebody's pissed out in
I
my
will find
pants
you. I will
again.
kill you.
Marjorie, someone pissed. I don't know who Marjorie is.
Goddamn Albanians.
Goddamn Albanians pissed in my pants
Yeah,
again.
blame them again. Why not?
Yeah. What an incredible career change to have such a successful change. It's a bit like the Leslie Nielsen thing, from The Naked Gun. Have you ever seen those movies?
Is Leslie Nielsen the snowy-haired gentleman?
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
in like scary movies.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff,
He's in
and
all
Airplane.
spoof kind of movies, but he was the captain of the Forbidden Planet, the ship in Forbidden Planet. He was like a very serious kind of sci-fi drama actor. And then I think Police Squad came along in like the mid-80s.
I thought it was Airplane that was the
Oh,
first
so
one, wasn't it?
forgive me,
Airplane,
you're
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. Airplane was just 1981? Or
Yes, 80, I think.
81. And had a complete career change, and then that was his thing. So Neeson kind of did the same thing in
Well, why
regard.
why do something serious when you can goof off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's always been my kind of theory. Is like if you can just goof off through life and have a real fun time and
Yeah.
do something weird, and also survive,
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. Man.
Plus, he's like taking the piss out of himself now, like appearing
Yeah.
in Ted and Extras recently, where
Yeah, Extras,
you know,
that was
he's just like
amazing.
playing himself,
Was
trying
it
to
known
do.
as Life's Too Short, I think.
Oh, was it like? Yeah,
It
it was.
was
Sorry,
with
yeah, not
Ricky
Extras. Yeah,
Gervais.
it's Gervais,
One of
wasn't
the
it?
Ricky
That was the
Gervais.
bowel cancer sketch that he did. That,
Yeah.
that was so
God.
He's trying to be
I was
like a funny actor
crying.
instead.
When he says, knock, knock, we're closed, he says, I think the store has to be open for the sketch to work. That was amazing. We're closed. I just love that. So, yeah.
So I'm glad that he's still able to take the piss out of himself,
Yeah.
even if he does sometimes piss
I
himself.
think people are fucking weird, and at the end of the day, he's just a big giant man
He is.
who said some really really wrong shit, but also done some really funny shit.
Yeah, and I think that he will go down as the Taken guy.
Yeah, it's Taken.
It's weird how like
Yeah.
his progression, his career has progressed. Like
He's probably
that.
tried to, well, not to shake it, but, the shadow of Schindler, really, because he was mostly known for Schindler's List.
Yeah. Oh, he won the Oscar for that.
Oh
didn't
my
he?
god,
Yeah.
was that him?
That was,
Yeah, he was Oscar Schindler.
That's another film that I've not seen to the end, and also I kind of know what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of,
You kind of know. It's the same reason why I've not watched Titanic. I fucking know what's happened.
the iceberg's
I know
coming.
it.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I know what is going to happen,
Yeah.
why am I going to watch the film?
Yeah, there was an element of that. So, I mean, to avoid Titanic being, of our generation,
Yeah.
that was the challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
to avoid seeing it, because not only was it like obviously in the cinema for like a year, but also everyone was buying that on the full Monty. Do you remember everyone had like the
Oh,
video
yeah.
cassettes?
Oh, well, I worked on the TV series, The Full Monty.
Did you?
Yeah. So I was.
I've just just finished it.
Yeah, I painted, what was it? Was it a cafe or an office? So I do scenic art sometimes when I got some
There was
time.
a character who was a graffiti artist. Was it to do with that character, or no?
No, I didn't do the graffiti.
It was more in interior design.
Yeah, so it's to do with like there's like a dusty old room, or they've got a Big Babs cafe, you know, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was just basically painting
Wow.
things to make them look old and shit.
No way.
And
Sort of, is there a word for that, like degrading or kind of like depreciating? Aging.
Aging. And yeah, I got to go to like the crew party after, which happened in Manchester. And fucking, who was there? Horse was there.
Yeah.
He looked sensational.
Did he look great?
He's like, he must be in his 80s.
Yeah.
And they were, you know, all the boys were there, and they were just like really lovely guys. And
Carlisle? What, Carlisle?
Robert wasn't there. I think he was busy.
He's got better things to do.
He's got better things to do.
Yeah.
But he did miss a photo booth and a partially free bar.
Oh, so there was still a good turnout.
I think Les Dennis was there.
Les Denis.
Le Denis was there as well. And I
Right,
was
seen the show?
I think he was.
I think he had a cameo. He might have had a cameo in it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Maybe
the
it's
full
just
Monty
Baz.
had a TV series, so this is all
Yeah,
news
yeah.
to me.
Disney
Well,
Plus.
watch it, because if they do another series, I might get another job where I can paint a cafe again.
Yeah, that'd be
All right, yeah, we'll do.
Then you're combining your two careers,
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
and painting.
Yeah, well,
together.
I do that. Like, I feel like... So I get to do, like, my art stuff there, I do my own art stuff, and then I do weird stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And
Weird
then-
sort of combinations
Yeah,
of things,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, like a
hello,
peddler.
You're like a peddler.
I'm like a peddler.
Like a sulphur peddler.
Yeah.
Well, I think you know, thank you very much for doing the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great talking to you, and I think that, you know, I'm so, like, I'm so envious of your, not only your career, but your outlook on it, and the way you've, you know, taken to it,
Oh,
as it
thank
were.
you.
So that's all from Helena, Matt, and myself today. So thank you very much for joining us today, Helena. Would you like to plug any of your pluggables?
What?
Would you like to advertise
As soon as
Gogglebox?
you were like pluggables, I'm like, butt plugs?
Yeah.
Sure, if you want, if you're if yourself.
Everyone was thinking it. She
Yeah,
just said it.
everybody's thinking pluggables sounds like hair plugs or butt plugs. That's what I'm thinking about.
Sure.
You're either one person or the other,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
As long as you get commission,
Both.
that's all that matters.
Maybe.
Yeah, get some hair plugs and a butt plug, and then you're real living.
Anyway,
Sorry.
family-friendly show on
Wind
at...
it in. So yeah, if you want to watch Gogglebox, you can watch it on Channel 4 at 9 o'clock on Friday, or you could watch something else. I really don't mind.
Fantastic. Yeah, okay. If you'd like to hear more from us, you can subscribe to our Spotify channel. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch now by searching for the name Matt and Mike Pull Focus. Say goodbye, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Say goodbye, Helena.
Helena.
There's usually a goodbye in front of that one as well. But,
Just Helena.
just Helena.
I thought we were just naming who we are.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. And that's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.